Hello and welcome back to Vintage Disney here on Brian's Things That Are Cool. When Chester Gould created Dick Tracy in 1931, originally Plainclothes Tracy, I'm sure he never could have imagined the impact he would have on the world of comics, or the success he would see on the big screen. Despite journalists attacking the comic as too violent, it was a huge success. Fortune magazine did an April 1937 poll amongst adult readers of comic strips, and Dick Tracy placed third under Little Orphan Annie and Popeye. Naturally, Hollywood came calling. Ralph Bird played Tracy in his first theatrical outing, 1937's Dick Tracy, a 15-chapter serial produced by Republic Pictures, which is why you may notice Republic regular Smiley Burnett in the comic relief role. One of the most expensive Republic serials at the time, at $128,000, Dick Tracy sees the character going head-to-head with the villainous Spider Gang. The serial's success paved the way for 3 more Tracy sequels, with Ralph Bird back in the fedora. 1938's Dick Tracy Returns, 1939's Dick Tracy's G-Men, and 1941's Dick Tracy Crime Inc. When it came time to adapt the character to feature films, Ralph Bird opted out of reprising the role. So the first 2 features, Dick Tracy Detective from 1945 and Dick Tracy vs. Cue Ball in 1946, Morgan Conway played Tracy. In 1990, Mike Mazurki, who played the killer Splitface in Dick Tracy's Detective, had a cameo in Disney's Dick Tracy. The Morgan Conway features were produced by RKO, and while they were successful, theater owners pensioned RKO to bring back Ralph Bird, and they obliged. Conway was then assigned to RKO's B Pictures, but the next year RKO decided to stop producing B Pictures, and Conway's contract wasn't renewed. Thus, Ralph Bird was back in action for Dick Tracy's Dilemma and Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome, both released in 1947. Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome is a standout, especially for me, as the villain is none other than Boris Karloff. 1950 would see Ralph Bird back in the role for the then new medium of television. The show is notable for being the first time characters such as Flat Top, Influence, and Breathless Mahoney appeared on film. As George Reeves' Superman series proved, television productions of the early 50s could be chaotic and strenuous. Bird's health declined over the course of the show, and he died on August 18, 1952 from a heart attack at 43 years old. Tracy appeared sporadically in animated form throughout the 60s, until 1967 when the producers of Adam West Batman attempted to start a new series with soap opera Edge of Night star Ray McDonnell as Tracy. Only the pilot was shot, but it's clear that they wanted to do more. The Ventures provided the theme song, and pre-Brady Bunch Eve Plum appeared briefly in the opening credits as Bonnie Braids, though never making an appearance in the pilot itself. It's a shame the series didn't move forward, as the makeup tests for Tracy's Rogue Gallery were very promising. I would have loved to see characters like Flat Top and Pruneface battle it out with Tracy every week. That's Wolfman actor Lon Chaney Jr. in the test makeup for Pruneface, by the way. We were so close to seeing these famous baddies come to life. Luckily, in 1990, Disney had our backs with Dick Tracy, and these characters were even stranger than we could have imagined. Development of the film began in the early 80s, with Warren Beatty obtaining the film rights in 1985, though he had shown interest in the character as early as 1975. Originally, it was to be written by Tom Mankiewicz, writer of the first 2 Superman films. This fell through when Chester Gould wanted more creative control. After Beatty walked from a failed attempt to produce the picture for Paramount, he decided to get the film rights himself and took the project to Disney. Beatty planned to star, but ultimately took the director's chair as well, saying, "Like most of the movies that I direct, when it comes time to do it, I just do it because it's easier than going through what I'd have to go through to get somebody else to do it." As Beatty's reputation as director had shown previously, Dick Tracy went way over budget, resulting in Disney deducting the cost from Beatty. Certainly more than a few hiccups, but the movie was getting made. Dick Tracy was originally going to be released under the Walt Disney Pictures banner, but it was decided to release it under the more adult-oriented Touchstone Pictures. That might have to do with the scene where Madonna's not wearing any underwear.
Oh boy! Ha!
The film was originally going to be shot in Chicago, but it was decided to use sound stages and backlots, which is perfect because you can't use existing buildings. This world had to be created. There's never been a movie that looks like this. The makeup designs, the sets, the costumes, the colors. The comic strip comes to life. Dick Tracy is out to bust all the crime in his never-named city. His arch-nemesis, Big Boy Caprice, played by Al Pacino, plans to unite the underworld and take over the city. Along the way, Tracy has to fight off the advances of a nightclub singer named Breathless Mahoney, care for an orphan boy named Kid, and fight some pretty crazy-looking guys. I think there might be something in the water in this city. John Caglione Jr. and Doug Drexler's makeup designs on Tracy's Rogue Gallery are outstanding and faithfully capture the looks of the characters in Gould's comic strip. With the exception of Big Boy, Al Pacino was allowed to try on various chins and noses till he was satisfied, essentially designing the character himself. Some complain of the movie being style over substance, but the comic strip wasn't really heavy on plot either, and we always knew who would win in the end. It was about the style. It was film noir. It was about the good guys stopping the bad guys. Escapism from a world where things aren't always so black and white. Or in the case of this film, radiating in primary colors. The grotesque bad guys are the most memorable thing about the comic, and we quite literally get them all. The Brow, Littleface, the Rodent, Steve the Tramp, Pruneface, and my personal favorite, Flat Top Jones, played by William Forsythe. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years back, and we talked for a half hour about movie makeup. And to this day, he still asks for the same Dick Tracy makeup team when he does a movie. Really great guy. All of the other actors are incredibly enjoyable as well, even if you may not recognize some of them, like James Caan, Kathy Bates, Michael J. Pollard, or Dustin Hoffman. This is a movie in which nothing looks real, but you wouldn't want it any other way. The matte paintings done by Harrison Ellenshaw, the son of Walt's go-to matte painting artist Peter Ellenshaw, are amazing to look at and only add to the comic strip feel. There were 3 soundtracks released for the film. The Danny Elfman score, songs used in the film including a great tune by Jerry Lee Lewis, It Was the Whiskey Talking Not Me, and Madonna's album I'm Breathless, which includes the songs written by Stephen Sondheim. As it is with movie magic, all this comes together to create an action-packed visual marvel. Dick Tracy had the biggest opening weekend Disney had ever had, but they were expecting Batman numbers, and they view it as a disappointment. Plus, they spent a fortune on merchandising. I swear, Dick Tracy was the Davy Crockett of my generation. His face was on everything in 1990. And I still have a good portion of it. Towels, buttons, pencil boxes, posters, action figures. They were all a necessity for a 7-year-old me, and still fun to have around now. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my look at Dick Tracy. If you want to be kept up to date as to when I release a new video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to be notified, hit that bell as well. I'm Brian, and I'll see you next time.